In a kingdom surrounded by towering mountains and lush green valleys, there was a prince unlike any other. Prince Edward was strong, handsome, and born to lead, but that wasn't what made him special. What set Edward apart was his humility. Despite his royal title and the grandeur of palace life, he treated everyone, from the wealthiest nobles to the humblest peasants, with the same kindness and respect. But not everyone admired his gentle ways. Among the palace guards, there was a murmuring of discontent. "Why is the prince so soft?" they whispered. "A leader should command fear and respect, not offer kindness to everyone." When these words reached Edward's ears, he simply smiled and replied, "True strength isn't in arrogance or fear, it's in gaining people's respect with good manners and a kind heart." The words stayed with the guards, though they didn't understand them at the time. Soon, even the king would put Edward's philosophy to the test. One morning, in the golden light of dawn, the king summoned Edward to the royal hall. Draped in his majestic robes, the king gazed at his son with a mix of pride and seriousness. "My son," the king said, "you have grown into a fine man, but before you can become king, I must be sure you truly understand the life of those you seek to rule. For 1 week, you will leave the palace, your title, and your fine clothes behind. You will dress as a commoner and live among our people in the village." Edward's face lit up with excitement. "I accept this challenge, father." The king gave him simple clothing and a small pouch of coins. "Remember, tell no one who you are. Learn what you can from their lives, and let your actions speak for your character." And so, with nothing to distinguish him but his kind heart, Edward left the palace behind, stepping into the unknown world of his people. The village was bustling with life, children playing in the dusty streets, merchants shouting their offers from stalls, and farmers carrying their goods from the fields. Dressed in his simple tunic, Edward blended in as just another villager. But it wasn't long before he realized how hard life here truly was. He offered to help a farmer carrying a heavy sack of grain, but he wasn't strong enough to lift it. He then tried to assist a merchant in the crowded market, but the old man looked at him skeptically. "You've got noble hands, not the calloused ones of a laborer," the merchant said. "Do you have the patience for a job like this?" Edward thanked the merchant and moved on, feeling the sting of rejection. He had failed to find meaningful work, but he refused to give up. Though his strength wasn't in lifting sacks or shouting over a marketplace, Edward found another way to help. He noticed that some village children were struggling to read, so he patiently sat with them, guiding their little fingers across the pages of worn books. He fixed broken wheels on farmers' carts with his nimble hands, and he listened intently to the worries of the village elders, offering thoughtful words of comfort and advice. The villagers began to love the young man, not for his strength, but for his warm heart and willingness to help whenever he could. But not everyone in the village was as kind-hearted. One afternoon, as Edward walked through the bustling market, he heard shouting. A towering man with a loud, menacing voice was berating an elderly merchant.
"You call this fair? Why would I pay for something so worthless?"
The old man tried to protest, but his voice was no match for the bully's booming tone. Edward stepped forward, his calm voice cutting through the chaos.
Strength is not in taking from others, but in respecting them.
The large man turned and laughed, towering over Edward.
"And who are you to stop me? You're nothing but a poor drifter."
Edward's gaze didn't waver. He stood tall, meeting the man's eyes.
I may have little in my pockets, but I am rich in something you lack. The respect of the people.
The market fell silent. The bully looked around and saw the crowd gathering, their eyes filled with admiration for Edward. Humbled and ashamed, the man dropped the fruit and stormed off. The villagers broke into applause, but Edward held up his hands to quiet them.
It doesn't take a prince to stand up for what's right. Courage and kindness are strengths anyone can have.
His father was waiting for him in the grand hall, eager to hear about his experience.
"Well, my son, what have you learned?"
I learned that true strength is not measured by power or wealth. It lies in humility, in standing up for others, and in earning respect through good deeds. I learned that if I am to lead, I must serve first.
The king's chest swelled with pride.
"You have learned what many rulers never do, my son. A king is not above his people, but with them. You are ready to rule."
Edward's humility became the foundation of his reign. He was a king who walked among his people, listened to their struggles, and earned their respect not with grandeur, but with kindness. His kingdom thrived under his care, not because he was the strongest or the richest, but because he ruled with a heart full of humility and strength. What about you? What does true strength mean to you? Is it in domination or kindness and courage? And how can you bring humility into your own life every day? If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales that touch the heart. If this story inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales that touch the heart.